Okay, so you're going to need a TheraBand, and this is one that is the medium strength. I cut it, and this is one I got from Target, and you can see the links are quite different. So I recommend getting them so that you can, I mean, this may be long enough if you get a weaker strength. The first exercise, let's see, how long is this? This one is over the length of my arm span, so I don't know, a yard, 2 yards. Knot the 2 ends of the TheraBand together so that you have a loop. Okay, and this first exercise is a serratus anterior exercise, and it's going to look like this. You start with the band is across your shoulder blades, and you pull across, oops, lower than that, pull across and open. And I'll come closer, but what you need to notice is that my scapula are, there we go. My scapula are opening and pulling tight. So as I extend my arms forward, they're separating, they're spreading out, and then as my arms come out to the side, my scapula are coming together. And I'll show you that here. So right here, they're apart, they're spread apart, right? You see that? And then they pull together. You don't need to go past, right? You don't need to go past this position. So it's forward and back. And you might not be able to come all the way flat. Like you might be stuck here, and that's fine because the resistance is going to open your chest. So that exercise works, like I said, your serratus anterior, which is right here, except for the fibers run this way. So it connects to your ribs and your scapula. So flip my hand around and it's right there. So what this muscle does, when it's strong, it glues your shoulder blade flat to your back and articulates it. When it's weak, you have a winged scapula. I need to do that. There we go. Where the bottom edge of it isn't really connected to your back, right? So that indicates a weak serratus anterior muscle. It also indicates stretched rhomboids, which for me give me a really bad headache, and it sometimes feels like a really sharp, hot knife kind of stabbing you underneath your shoulder blade, and it comes from a weak serratus anterior on one side or the other, but for you, I think it's both sides. I've noticed it on your running form, like the bottom edge of your shoulder blade pokes out always. So that exercise will strengthen the serratus anterior. I would do 3 sets of 10 to start, and then work up to 12, and then change the resistance. A few other pointers. Don't break your wrists, right? You want strong wrists when you do this. It's not a wrist exercise, it's scapula. And also, it's not, your back shouldn't arch. It's not like this. You're not flying. Your back is neutral, it's not moving, it's just a scapular exercise, right? That's the only thing that should be moving. Okay, so that's the first exercise. You'll also want to do T's, Y's, and I's. You can do this first without a band, but then definitely with a band. I'm going to step back, but T's look like this, Y's look like this, and I's are closer, right? So T's they're just pulses. It's the same movement, and it's the same muscle group. So pulse, 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 pulse. My thumbs are pointed, my palms are pointed down. My thumbs are in front of me. pulse, 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 pulse. And again, I'm not like jerking my back around. My back is stiff and straight. And I'm just moving my shoulder blades. That's it. So that they come apart, they come together. Pulse, pulse, pulse. And you learn muscle control. Do it slower until you can actually feel your shoulder blades coming together and separating. And another thing you can do when you're breathing, we all breathe in the front, especially because you do a lot of running. You breathe here to, you know, well, anyway, it's just a cardio breath. Work on breathing into the middle of your back. So right in between your shoulder blades. So when your arms are across, breathe into that space. So when you take a breath, you breathe into the sides of your lungs and you breathe into the back of your rib cage. So there should be expansion in the front, which you already feel. That's normal breath. But you should also expand in the sides and in the back. And that will help you, well, that will help with the serratus anterior, just help you gain more muscle control with that. So the T's, pulse, 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 pulse. Okay, Y's. So I'm holding, there's some resistance on the band, it's not crazy. I'm anchoring it at my belly button because it's a good strong point. And I'm just using my scapula to move my arm. I'm not moving my arm. I'm moving the scapula and my arm is moving. And I'm counting those as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 2, 2, 3, 4, 5, but you can count them any way you want. But I'm doing, well, I think I just did 5, but try to go up to 10. There's also a stretch there. You'll feel it underneath your arm. It's your pec major, but mostly your minor that extends to the other side of your humerus. That's going to stretch out, and that's good because that's part of what pulls you forward. When your serratus anterior isn't activating right. So T's, Y's, and you do the other side, other Y. 1. Okay, and then I's, straight up. So for that exercise, it's actually probably more of a deltoid exercise, and also it stretches out your front, and instead of your scapula moving as with the T's and Y's, let's see, your scapula are the T's, they're coming like this, the Y's, they're coming like this, the I's, they're stabilizing, especially the arm that's holding the band. As you move this arm, this one is helping you, I mean, both of them are staying stable, and they're helping you do the movement. So the first exercise was the knot. across, right? Oops, there we go. Across, open. So I'm using my scapula. Similarly, T's, back, Y's, and I's. The next exercise I'm going to do at the door. Let's see. Just make a knot. Resist coming towards the band, power away. You don't want to break your wrist again, so you keep a strong neutral wrist. Your elbow is glued to your side. I'm using my hand to kind of feel that my elbow's not moving. Open, open. So here my scapula are stabilizing. They shouldn't be moving, but my rotator cuff is moving. Learning to isolate that from scapular movement will help pull that winged scapula in. So now I'm just going to spin around and do the opposite movement. So I'm pulling, instead of pulling away, I'm pulling in. And then I'm going to switch sides. So, anchor your elbow in. It shouldn't move at all. So I'm going to feel where my elbow is and try to keep my elbow back. My arm is still. The only thing not moving are my internal rotators underneath my scapula and my shoulder. And what I just did was I changed the movement so that my arm's coming further back, because when I was up here, it wasn't going perpendicular. It was still kind of forward. So I stepped forward, and now the band is pulling my shoulder back, and I'm resisting. And then I turn around and do the other side. So you've got the scapular retractions, right? T's, Y's, I's, and then you have the door where you're doing, oh, you don't even have to do a door, look at that. You can do these rotator cuff rotations, right? So you want to do there's in, and then there's, you switch, and there's out, and then you want to do left and right. So there are 4 different movements. So you pull in, and then you pull out. For each arm, pull in, and then pull out. Okay, so the last one are, you want to do a side deltoid raise, thumb up, and thumb down. So it's 2 exercises, but it's the same movement. So let's see. I'm stepping on the band. I'm at the very end because I'm still a little weak here. And my arms are going to come thumb down and thumb up, right? So I'm going to start thumb up. So my arms are going to come up to my side, not higher. They don't need to go higher. Right here. Down where there's resistance. If I go further than that, I lose resistance. So I'm just going to stay here. Up and down. And I don't feel this evenly in my shoulders, so I can isolate. And just do one at a time if I need to focus more on, well, my injury is on the right side, so I need to focus more on the left, or I need to focus more on the right when I stabilize. So, I'll show you that. And then say I've done 10 of those, or as many as I can do before it, like my arm's gonna fall off. Switch my grip, thumb is down. And then this is a deltoid exercise, but it's actually also a rotator cuff exercise. It works, I forget which ones. I have to look it up. But it hurts the one I injured, so I need to do this every day. And there's an alternative where you bend over and you pronate your arms and do, it's like an open can exercise. I forget what the name is. So anyway, so that's deltoid raises, thumb up and thumb down. Right, so you've got the band is tied, scapular retractions, right? T's, Y's, and I's, in and outs, left and right, and then deltoid raises, well, the band is still, thumb up, and thumb down. And when you are better at stabilizing, you'll end up adding weights to the deltoid raises and also learning to do, well, not learning, I know you know how to do, but bicep curls. Oh yeah, okay. So the last thing is you wanted some sort of harness. So I like the TheraBand because it's really soft and gentle. If I were to use a rope, it would cut into my skin and hurt. So it's draped over my shoulders like a shawl, and I'm gonna wrap it behind me as high as I can, right? And tie it in the front, real quick. So you can see how it's wrapped around my shoulders. Tied in the middle, and whew, voila. I can walk around like this all day, and I can do stuff like type on the computer or clean. It lets me move forward, but really it's drawing my shoulders open in the front and stretching all of this, and my scapula aren't winging, I hope. So anyway, that's how you do, this is what you were looking for. But then all of the other exercises teach your body how to do the same thing, to do the same hold. But this way, you can relax and let some of the tightness release. And I have many more exercises, but this is, if you do this for a couple weeks, work up to 3 sets of 12, then I'll show you the rest. If you're not there, keep doing this because they're not going to help you until you do this better. All right, take care. Bye-bye.